I wanted to do a quick unboxing on some WCW original San Francisco toys figures from 1994-ish, around that time today. Everybody seems to be losing their mind over LJNs these days, which kind of has made the price skyrocket a bit, so I kind of went this direction with the WCW ones because they still aren't that expensive. Most of them new on card, except for a few exceptions. They're still reasonably priced, but you know, it is hard to find these in pretty good condition, and I'll tell you why. Now, this one here, just before we get to the unboxing, this is the Sting one. I actually found this one at a flea market for $5, and it's worth around 30-ish. And basically, they're like LJNs, only they're obviously a little bit smaller. They're not in scale. This is what I would call maybe near mint. The hand has a mark on it, but the rest of him looks pretty good, as you can tell. Has a little marker on the back of it, but a pretty cool figure nonetheless. Now, the thing about these that are aggravating, now this, if you had these as a kid and you played with these, basically this Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan is probably what your figures look like. This is not a Series 1, and it feels a little harder in the mold than the original ones did. But the main thing with these, and I think it may have been the same thing with all of them, was, as you can tell from the nose and from the hands, the mold of these were black, and they just painted over them with skin color and every other thing. But as you can tell with the markings and whatnot, there is some color issues with the figure after a while, and basically any battle that this figure ever had, the marks from the other figures are on him, which don't seem to want to come off. And this has been through a fig bath, and it didn't really do anything to help it. I do have, though, a Series 1 Kevin Sullivan that I had unboxed on this channel, I think last year. As you can see, still mint, because I've just put him on display. Obviously, at my age, I don't play with these things. But this is how they should look. But if you played with them as a kid, this is probably how yours looks now. Although, like I said before, this one much looser in the mold than the later ones seem to be. That one's pretty tight, and this one is pretty tight as well, as it was also not a Series 1 figure, I do not believe. That being said, there's the rundown on these and why I'm actually buying them. So here we have mint on card 2 original WCW original San Francisco Toy Maker action figures from 1994. Both of these are Series 1, and both of these were actually recently purchased at a place called The Great Escape in Murfreesboro. You can see they are totally LJN ripoffs, pretty much, to the ring that is on the card. There's a look at everybody that was in Series 1. I have a very bad version of Harlem Heat. I have Kevin Sullivan. This is Johnny B. Bad. We're about to unbox, and we're about to unbox Vader. And I also have Ric Flair, but I only have a Hollywood Hogan at the moment. And I don't think nobody really has the ring, because the ring's kind of harder to get. But nonetheless, here is Johnny B. Bad, Mark Marrow. One of the cheaper ones they had at the Great Escape. You can see $8.99 for him. They also had the Big Bubba Rogers figure, you know, Big Boss Man, and I considered purchasing that one because the one I've got was what I actually had as a kid, and it's kind of beat up, but I digressed on it. Might go back and get it. They had the Giant. I also have the Giant, but my Giant's pretty good condition, so I'm not worried about that. I did recently purchase a beat-up Harlem Heat pair, and they did have Harlem Heat, so I might go back and get them. And they also had the Nasty Boys, but they wanted like $50 for the Nasty Boys, so I'm debating on that. But nonetheless, here comes the big, you know, moment that some people will agree with and some people will gasp when I do it. But I'm going to crack open this figure that has been in the package since 1994, and we're going to get a good look at it. Because, let's be honest, folks, I do not collect mint on card figures. They're easier to store when they're loose, basically. If you got to move, you just put them in a Ziploc bag and you take them out. So there's that, and here is this. And I'll tell you this much, I'm not sure about the pose, but look-wise, oh, Johnny B. Bad here, oh, Mark Merrill, looks pretty decent. pretty good likeness on this. You know, I've been wanting to buy the new Young Bucks LJNs, but a lot of people tell me they're more along the lines of these figures than the actual LJNs. There's a little bit, if I can pick that up on camera here, a little bit of paint right there, or I don't know, mold or something, I don't know what it is, but he's got some discoloration right there along the waistband. Everything else seems to be fine, except for right there. And a lot of times that's from being in the package for long periods of time. Still a cool figure. Now here comes the one that was a little bit harder of a purchase for me. Not because I didn't want Vader, because Vader is a figure that I actually owned as a kid. It was beat up because I played with it obviously a lot. But he was one of the higher ones. $39.99, so including the wonderful Tennessee sales tax, I paid $40 for this thing. But online, mint on card, he's like $60, and he's going for about this price loose, so why not? Again, Vader is a Series 1 figure, and there's all that stuff, and there's the facts about Vader, but let's pop him open now. This one, considering what I paid for it, kind of makes me sweat a little bit to pop him open, and he's giving me some resistance, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Look at that. Ruining the picture of Vader right here on the internet just to look over a figure. And there he is. Out of the pack is the man they call Vader. One of the better ones in this series, I believe. Only thing he's missing is that cool little battle helmet, but accessories was not something they done. There's the card wear from where he was inside the card for so long. Everything else seems to be pretty good. A little bit of discoloration right here. Not sure what that is. That could be some residue from the package. Might have to wash him down a little bit and see what happens, but pretty tight mold there. So maybe I was just wrong about Kevin Sullivan, although the legs are pretty flexible. Vader, obviously one of the bigger figures in the set because Vader was one of the bigger guys, but there they are. Series 1 WCW original San Francisco Toys LJN-ish figures that I'm actually still collecting and still recently trying to, you know, buy on the internet. So do you have any of these? Do you like them? Do you think I'm an idiot for opening them? Because I'm sure some people will think that is the case. Leave me comments below, like, share, and just generally tell me what you think about these things. And I will be back with another video soon when I'm going to unbox some ECW original San Francisco toy figures.